There's a really
Yeah.
good question in chat actually that I wanted to
Yes,
bring
I was
up
going to bring this up.
from Vitali.
Yeah.
He says, "Hi Mark. Can you?" He says, "Spill the beans on attack charge. And what do we know that we don't?" So I know that's kind of a very. So I'll reword that question for Vitali slightly. But obviously we haven't seen attack charge yet in Formula, and that was the whole big thing with Gen 3. Obviously you're probably working on the assumption that attack charge will probably be introduced with your alongside your powertrain in season 11. So what are the challenges with attack charge? Do you think does that affect the powertrain in any way in terms well it doesn't with the battery and so forth I suppose, but like are you looking forward to attack charge and how do you I suppose see those races change?
Yeah, we don't know a lot of we don't have a lot of experience in it yet. As you say, we know we're just getting our batteries. We received our test car a couple of weeks ago. We're aware of the testing everybody else has done. We get the reports and we listen in meetings and things as to the other teams that have been working on it. So I'm not going to be able to answer very questions very well because we haven't been deeply involved in that testing. I can only surmise, when you think about how much charge there is. I was in my Tesla the other day, and you talk about having 275 kilowatts capability
Yeah.
and those kind of things. And even at a Tesla charger, which you're the only car in the bank, you pretty much I've only ever seen about 170 kilowatts that I've seen
Yeah.
anyway. Maybe it goes higher. It just shows you when you look at the size of the transformers and everything next to the charging station that are needed to generate and to deliver that much power. Getting into the 600 kilowatt range is double, what Tesla even says is possible, or at least what, they designed their cars for. I think the latest Porsches and others can do theoretically 375, I think.
Yeah.
So it's, not quite double, but it's a lot more. And so as an engineering, let's say, feat, it is pretty incredible when you think about we also have a little old Zoe in one of my companies and
Yes.
does 80 miles and charges at 7 kilowatts or something,
Yeah.
even if struggles to do that, and it's 8 to 10 years old. So what's amazing is, when you're working with new technology is difficult. It's kind of like the definition. And so, when people say, oh my gosh, those teams, and again, I'll say in F1 or in Formula E or WEC are having so much trouble, it's because we really are pushing the boundaries. There's a way of thinking of technology, which is what NASA uses to say, when you start at zero, that is called blue sky research. So that's splitting the atom. And number nine is, you're taking a commercial airliner into the skies. And in between motorsports, I see us, we're technology demonstrators. We are demonstrating high-end technology. It's still a bit risky. It's not ready perhaps for the mainstream, but in motorsports, we can take more risk. And so if you think of it like that, then everything we do in motor racing is pushing the boundary. Once it's working in Formula E or any other form of racing, then it'll maybe get commercialized and go towards something that somebody can safely use every day with no worries, with no, in Formula E, we have, 10 mechanics looking after the cars. And so it's not like, you and your Porsche or Tesla or Audi or something where you're driving down the road and you just want to plug in and not worry about it and go and get a burger or a coffee. So motor racing is, I often say, a prototyping competition. We're in a competition to prototype ideas and concepts quicker than anywhere else, and hopefully those ideas come across into everyday road cars and everything that we see. So I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying we really are pushing the boundaries, and that is, it's not a joke. We're pushing the boundaries pretty hard. To answer your second part of your question, how will it turn out in racing? That's I haven't quite sort of played it out, completely with the strategy guys yet in my head as to how it's going to, finish up. We didn't expect to have the kind of peloton racing, a year ago or so. But that's what motor racing brings when you're experimenting with the future. That's why, you have sprint races in F1 and you can tell I'm doing lots of references to F1, but
Yeah.
I've, been watching it recently and both series are doing new things, pushing the boundary like they should be. And as both world championships, then it's important that we're trying new things and demonstrating those things to the public and the fans.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
got go on.
I wanted to ask about pushing it. So sticking on like pushing the boundaries and everything, I wanted to ask about autonomous vehicles as well because there was lots of stick that came out over the weekend over the race that happened in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
I mean, it's really hard. You know that I'm involved
Yeah.
in autonomous vehicles. It's really hard. You can tell I like doing really hard things, and I'll tell you it's really hard. So I do know some of the people at TUM University that obviously won in the end. I got involved in Robo Race very early
Yeah.
on, and I know how hard that was. It's phenomenally difficult what they're trying to do, and especially only with 20 or 30 students slash PhD doctoral students. I'm not even putting them down by saying that. They're the smartest kids on earth. So it's, and I think I understood on the broadcast that they'd only been given access to the cars like with 1 month. Is that right? That
Something
is,
around that.
we've been working with Yamaha for 18 months, 2 years in order to deliver two cars nearer the end of this year onto the racetrack. So, it's not really fair that a bunch of students who haven't done motor racing, let alone have only seen the cars 1 month before, to do something that no one's ever done is, three big layers of unknowns. It's not just one layer of unknown. It was obviously different, but I can imagine that in a year they'll be zooming around that course, and the cars probably will look pretty impressive. But yeah, it was a very big challenge, let's say.